Welcome to Misquamicut Tonight with your host, Caswell Cook.
Hey everybody, I'm Caswell Cook and welcome to Misquamicut Tonight. It's the show where we talk about things going on in Misquamicut and the Westerly vicinity. Of course, in the summer, we have all these summertime events to talk about. And then as we get towards the winter, things slow down quite a bit in Misquamicut Beach. It's just the way it goes. But we thought we would highlight one of our new members of the Misquamicut Business Association. They are located in Westerly, and they're called the Fresh Harvest Kitchen. And it's a unique situation that they have going on down there. So I thought that I would bring on a couple of guests that would like to talk about this new venture in town and something that you guys might be interested in visiting. So if we can bring them on the screen, we have Gina Fuller and we have Pete Silva. So Gina, tell us what you do for a living, and then Pete, you tell us what you do for a living.
So my name is Gina Fuller. I am the district manager for the Southern Rhode Island Conservation District. And the Conservation District is one of over 3,000 from across the country. And we are, led by a volunteer board of directors. And our mission is to assist public and private landowners achieve their conservation goals. So in the context of the Fresh Harvest Kitchen, a group of fishermen approached me. Farmers had approached me a couple of years prior. And then at the start of COVID, fishermen approached again, asking about how we could get together some kind of cooperative processing space where they could legally here in Rhode Island sell their fish and shellfish direct to customers. So through the COVID pandemic, we worked on that process. And together we have opened what we're calling the Fresh Harvest Kitchen, which you can find at 9 East Avenue in Westerly, which is the Fresh Cup Plaza or the East Avenue Plaza, the old famous pizza, Thirsty Gull. So we are currently operating a cooperative kitchen where fishermen, shell fishermen, and farmers can come in and process their products to value added or to be able to sell them direct to restaurants as well as direct to consumers. So we have some retail hours towards the end of the week, every week, where you can walk in off the street, buy oysters, little necks, fresh fish, local farm products, local value-added products, jellies, jams, those kind of things.
Nice. And Pete, tell us what you do and what brings you to the project.
Sure. Well, I own a couple bait and tackle stores, Quaney Bait and Tackle in Charlestown and Weekapaug Bait and Tackle in Westerly. And I'm also a commercial climber. So it's always been a dream of mine to be able to sell my clams to my community. And the Fresh Harvest Kitchen allows that. So I really have had high interest in what Jay and Gina have started there, and along with Josiah and a lot of other people that really put in a lot of groundwork to get that thing built. And I'm just really happy and to be a part of it and be able to help in any way I can and promote it. But that's what I'm doing right now. I'm working with the Fresh Harvest Kitchen to help them and running those businesses.
You mentioned Jay and Josiah. Give us their full names and what they have to do with the thing, because I mean, not everybody knows who Jay or Josiah are without the last name.
Sure. Jason Jarvis and Josiah Dodge. They're both local fishermen and businessmen. Jason's on numerous boards that have to do with the environment and
fisheries.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, fisheries sector. Jay's
in the fisheries. Yeah, in the fisheries. Yeah, absolutely. So they're both very just lifelong fishermen and been in the industry and have a huge amount of knowledge, and they were a big part of the process with Gina. Really, the three of them made Fresh Harvest Kitchen so it exists for our community and people. And
if you remember, Caswell, when When COVID first started, the state changed the regulations and they were allowing fishermen to sell right off their boats from the dock. And the problem here in Westerly is we have about 25 to 30 commercial fishermen, but really no dock or marina type facilities where they could do it. So Mike Wade from Watch Hill Outfitters was kind enough to let them come all the way up to Pawcatuck River and pull in on Main Street and sell the product, sell their fish direct to customers. But the problem was all they could do there was sell a whole fish. And that was not something the community was used to dealing with. So that's really what pushed us to we really need this facility, because if customers want fillets or they want it, gutted and scaled, legally we have to have a facility that's certified by the Department of Health in which to do this. So Jay and Josiah were really key to getting the conversation started with me about how do we do this, and then sort of helping us move through the process to get all of the licensing and permits and things that are required to make this kind of facility happen.
So I'm kind of, I've had a seafood restaurant, but it's at the end of the process where they deliver the fish and you fry it up. I had no idea about any of these rules and regulations. I thought you could buy off boats. I thought you could go to Galilee and just buy, lobsters off a boat or something. So
you can buy lobsters, but not the finfish.
And what was the reason for that? Or there's just...
It's Rhode Island regulations, and there was Josiah and Jason, Catherine Puckett from Block Island. There was a small group of people studying that regulation before COVID hit to change it to allow them to do that. And then COVID hit, so DEM was able to expedite that and offer a direct dealer sale. When you're going up to Galilee, you're buying from facilities that, well, pre-COVID, you couldn't get the finfish off the dock, but it went through somebody's fish house and you bought it on the road outside of Galilee. So it was fresh, but they still had this facility that we did not have here in Westerly prior to COVID. Then they changed the regulation. So you have to have a direct dealer's license. And then at that point you had to have a dock on which to pull up and do the work. And again, Mike was kind enough to allow that at Watch Hill Outfitters, but we didn't have a product that consumers were really looking for.
So tell me when someone can just pop in. So first of all, we've established it's what's the address?
9 East Avenue, Unit F.
Right. So where Famous Pizza used to be. That's how we describe things, right, in Rhode Island.
That's
next to the old S&S Cleaners.
Yeah, exactly. It's a Fresh Cup Plaza, and it's the Fresh Cup Harvest Kitchen.
Across from Triangle Mobile. So
exactly. It's not even mobile.
When can one just walk in and buy what they want to buy?
Wednesday afternoons, Thursday afternoons, Friday afternoons, and Saturday mornings.
And so what will they find, Pete, when they walk into the Pete singing in the background?
Yeah, that's all right. Sorry about that.
You can. No, that's fine. So, Pete, when I walk in on a Wednesday afternoon, what can I buy? What kind of stuff?
So, whatever the local produce of the season that we have is there when you first walk in, and but then we have fresh shellfish as far as cherry stones, little necks, cherry stones, chowders, soft shell clams, oysters from Block Island. We've been getting regularly. We have some black sea bass fillets at the moment, I believe, and then we have fresh frozen items like fluke and sea bass and striper at times, depending on what our inventory is, and just a lot of local stuff from local businesses, different sauces or mixes and stuff like that, stuff you can cook with. But that pretty much rounds it up right now. But we post every day. We post something on Facebook saying what we have. It changes every day, really. It depends on what we harvest and what's available.
So Fresh Harvest Kitchen on Facebook.
Sorry,
Facebook Fresh Harvest Kitchen.
Yes.
And so my question then is do people go out and fish in like, the rough waters of February? Like what happens in months like that?
Yeah. So, go ahead, Gina. Sorry.
That's this will be our first full winter when we're open. So a lot of the guys that we're working with here in Westerly do not generally get out in the roughest, coldest portion of the year. But we'll be collaborating. Josiah's on a bigger boat. He's in a different port. We'll be collaborating with him and others that would be going out in the winter and be bringing fish and have it available. And I just wanted to add, we also always have frozen pork and beef from local producers,
right.
pasture raised meat products frozen in the coolers.
And what are prices like? I mean, is it, comparable to a supermarket? Is it cheaper? Is it more expensive? Like, I have no idea. Like,
I think we're about what you would find everywhere else, at a farmer's market, at the local seafood dealers. We try to keep it within market prices. But the beauty of this is, in some ways, the goal is to be able to increase the money that goes back to the fishermen, because the market is the seafood market is something very interesting I've never seen before. So we're able to pay. We're a dealer. We're able to pay the fishermen direct for their price, so they are able to get a little bit higher price the fishermen themselves, but they're also having to put in a little bit of work in order to do that. A little time behind the counter, or they're doing the filleting themselves. Maybe deliveries, that kind of thing.
so what's the goal? Is it someday to be 7 days a week, full time? I mean, do you like the way it is now? Like what are you looking for people that want to help? Are you looking for other people that fish to get involved, or do you think everybody in the local area that fishes knows that this exists as far as commercial fishermen?
Oh no, we are really eager to grow, bring in new fishermen, bring in new customers, increase our hours. But we've been very careful to go real slow in the way we scale this, because what we want to provide to the community is the freshest, highest quality product. So we're very careful not to bring in too much, so that we're always able to turn over product within 24 to 48 hours, or it gets frozen. So we're definitely looking to grow. We had a great summer, thanks to a lot of the businesses in the Misquamicut Business Association. They were buying shellfish from us, Maria's, Gino's, Venice, everybody down the beach at some point either got fish or shellfish from us. So we're really excited to be able to continue to grow those relationships and to grow our customer base. So that's what we'll be working on this winter. You'll see some events coming from us over the next few months, where we'll be inviting the community to come in, taste product, learn how to cook a whole fish, clean a whole fish, open shellfish. That seems to be an issue with some folks. So,
yep, without hurting yourself,
right, and without destroying the meat of the clam. So, yeah, we're looking forward to growing and meeting the community's needs and being a reliable source for super local produce and fin fish and shellfish.
You have a video that you want us to see, Gina. We should roll it, and you should tell us what we're looking at. So, Ben, if you've got that video, why don't you roll it, and Gina can explain what the video is.
Yes. So the state of Rhode Island has something called Rhode Island Seafood. You can look it up online, find it on Facebook. It's a seafood marketing collaborative, and thanks to them, they've put together this great video for us. They're profiling fishermen, they're profiling products, and really trying to elevate seafood, Rhode Island seafood.
Does this video have audio with it?
It does. And so Nick will tell you about himself. Nick has been a key player in our shellfish supply. If you were eating little necks in Westerly this summer, you were probably eating a little neck that Nick dug out of one of our beautiful salt ponds.
All right, so, Ben, roll the video.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nick Selico. I'm a law student at Roger Williams University, and I'm also a commercial shell fisherman. I typically dig hard shell clams, which are commonly known as quahogs in Rhode Island, and I dig them with a bull rake. And the technique specifically that I'm using is called short sticking. Usually, most shell fishermen dig off the side of their boats with their bull rakes, but I like to stand in the water. It's simpler and it's very effective for the years I've put into learning the technique. So you can see here, I'm dumping the clams on a rack. Little ones fall through, and I toss them in the bucket. And then when I've pretty much am satisfied with my catch for the day, I bag them up and bring them to market. And I love every single moment of it.
That's great. So tell us. Oh wait, we got Jay. Jay's with us.
Yeah, well, no wonder I can see why now we couldn't find him right away. Look at what he's doing.
I'm doing it all.
I thought you were like it looked like you were broadcasting from Alaska.
I wish.
So we've added Jason Jarvis to the conversation. We just watched the video that we saw. And while he gets that squared away, tell us, Gina, before we talk to Jay while he's getting situated. So who made that video that we just saw?
That was the Rhode Island Seafood Marketing Collaborative. So RI Seafood on Facebook. I think they have a website too. That is the state got a grant to promote Rhode Island seafood. And so they're going out, they're making these videos. They're doing some great profiles of various fishermen, restaurants, anybody who's selling Rhode Island seafood. Because I don't think we've said it, but over 90% of Rhode Island seafood is sold out of state. You're not eating local seafood in a lot of cases, most cases. So the state has really tried to put some time and effort into highlighting where you can get truly Rhode Island local fresh seafood. And they've been just a great resource for us, and we're really excited to continue to work with them.
Nice.
He'll be at an event at the kitchen soon.
He will be?
Yeah, the collaborative will be there.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
And when we come down, so now I guess my other question to you then, Gina or Pete or Jay, is so who's behind the counter? Like, when you come in on those days that the kitchen is open, who's actually serving up, not serving, but who's selling the stuff? Is it the fishermen themselves or volunteers or
everybody? You can find any one of us there. We recently hired our first staff, non-fisherman, non-conservation district person, Lauren. So you'll find her there a lot of times. You can find farmers. You can find some of the conservation district staff there. It's truly
nice.
A collaborative effort.
I'm afraid to ask Jay a question because he's driving, but I guess you can talk and drive at the same time. How did you get involved in this, Jay?
It's all Gina's fault.
Well,
I blamed it on you.
Where to begin? Hold on. There we go. Well, I've been fishing for just under 30 years, and used to have to, for 6 years, I was fishing out of Westerly, and I'd have to transport my fish to Point Judith, a 52-mile round trip. So luckily, I didn't have to do that the past couple of years because with gas at $5, it's a losing game,
And when did you get involved in the kitchen?
3 years ago, we started the renovation.
Yeah.
10 years ago, I sat down and talked with Gina about, boy, it'd be great if we could do this. And here we are.
Here we are.
So how many months out of the year do you fish?
I try to fish 9 months out of the year, if I can.
And so you have your own boat. You go out. What do you catch?
Well, this year's been tough. I mean, I only had a small 19-foot skiff. So clamming, finfish, everything that I'm allowed to catch. Stripers, scup, sea bass, sea robin, whatever the state allows.
And why do you like to fish so much? If you've been doing it for 30 years, you got to like it. What attracts you to the ocean? What attracts you to doing it?
I have it.
What?
I have. No, just it's been in my blood my whole life. I mean, one of my brother Mike kind of got me into it, but I mean, prior to that, my brother John fished. My dad was a master shipwright. He built wooden ships. My grandfather from the Bahamas fished, a mariner. So I think it's in your blood. It's not what you do; it's who you are.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And you're a musician too.
Yeah, and I'm a musician, and I can do construction if I need to, and I can do plumbing and electric, and
so we're all kind of jacks of all trade. Now, Pete, I wanted to ask you to tell us about your businesses, because you're kind of, when you started, like we first started talking a few years ago, and then you bought the business down at the Misquamicut and started expanding. You kind of reminded me of like what I do, like put too much on my plate kind of thing. But I find that the busiest people get the most done, right, Pete?
That's right. No,
So
it's very true.
Tell us all of your businesses.
Okay. All right. So I started with Quantity Bait and Tackle in Charlestown, which is on the corner of Route 1 and 216. And then a few years ago, I acquired the Westerly Bait and Tackle location down in Misquamicut. And I also have a t-shirt or a printing business called Planet Locals. And I just have been very fortunate from being from this area, from having a lot of support and people that I can trust that help me run my businesses. And it's really a team effort with everything, but it's just been a great industry. The fishing industry in general, I've been on the recreational side of it most of all, obviously, but it's just really such a wonderful thing and a huge thing in our state. It's over a $400 million business a year throughout the state, recreational fishing, and people are just in good moods. And so many people show up to our community from like hours away, and they'll walk into my store down in Misquamicut and be like, "Is there anywhere to fish around here? Or is there anything to catch?" And it's kind of hilarious to us because we know, like, right there at those rocks, people can come and they're learning how to fish, and then we show them how to fillet it if they want to come back. I mean, it's just a very nice industry to be a part of. So that's really what I'm involved in, is just things. I want to be involved in businesses like the Fresh Harvest Kitchen, like the industry I'm in, that are good for the community, are positive. And these guys just have taught me so much about the commercial end of things. Between Jay and Joe and Nick, Celico has really taught me quite a bit when it comes to the clamming. I just that's really what I've got going on. It's just family-oriented, recreational type businesses, and then being involved with this because this is so important. Like Gina was saying about how much of our fish and seafood gets sent out of state. We're the first of our kind in the state to be able to, which exists in other states, but not here yet. But now it does. To be able to have a say in where our seafood goes, and we found that there's huge interest from our local restaurants and community to have our locals. They didn't know they didn't have local seafood. They just assumed they did, because why wouldn't you assume that, like you said before, like, you just kind of assume that's the way things are. But it's not, because no one was paying attention. So then somebody decided to make it an industry out of sending it everywhere else. And, God bless them. But, now we've got our own thing to keep our area self-sustainable. And we ask for the patience of our community to help us, to be patient with us while we're building this thing, because it does take time, because we're building relationships between restaurants and fishermen and farmers to protect all involved. So it takes time. You can't just say, have 100 fishermen show up and just sell it. We'll buy all their stuff, because it's not a product you can do that with. You have to have somewhere for it to go. And our whole thing is we want it to go somewhere and be as fresher than anywhere else. And you know exactly where it's from. It enhances the experience for the local restaurant customer, because they can put on the menu who caught it and where. And the the clamming end of things that I'm involved in, I love because it's year round. It's something you can do year round. Jason says he only fishes 9 months a year, but he does clam year round. He'll be out there with me. I'm sure we'll be out there together, hopefully having a blast when there's little icebergs floating around, getting clams for our community. And people can come in and be a part of something that's really going to hopefully spread throughout all communities for them to use what natural resources they have co-ops like this. And anyway, so through my businesses and putting too much on my plate, like you said, we do, it's okay because it's all for good stuff. That's what keeps me going with all this stuff, is because it's all positive. It's all really energetic things. And these people right here, Gina and Jason, really, I can't express enough how much they took on to make this happen. And they've done it. And here we are. And I'm just happy to be here and be able to help in any way I can. So I know that's a little off of what you asked me, but sorry.
No, that's good. And what was great is watching, Jay, like, going off. It looks like some kind of reality show. He's watching him driving and stuff.
It's he's always going. We're always, all of us are always going. We already have these full lives and these full plates.
He's out of range, obviously. It's been
that's all right. Yeah, he's probably coming off the pond. He's probably coming off the water and bad signal.
Well, a couple of questions I had. I don't want to keep you guys too long, but is there, like, I read stuff about, like, lobsters, for instance, and how there's a diminishing population, and how the temperature of the ocean changing has affected how much is out there. Do we have, like, a real shortage of fish and clams and shellfish? How real are those reports? Is it something that affects us here off of our coast? Maybe just clue me in a little bit on what's going on out there with the population of fish and shellfish.
I think I can answer most of that. I think on the shellfish end of it, steamers in Rhode Island have been on the decline with environmental factors and disease. After Sandy, too, an influx of a lot of fresh water really messed them up. But then on top of that, the water temperature is warming. We're seeing cobia, cubera snapper, mullet, a lot of pelagic fish coming closer. So tuna this year, we had yellowfin coming really close. Lobsters have definitely moved off and moved up north and moved into deeper water. So things are changing, but fishermen adapt. I think, I wouldn't mind catching some cubera snapper. I think they go for $20 a pound. So hey, we'll change with the times if we have to. I think quahog, I think we're in good shape with those. They're resilient. And oyster farming, the only kind of aquaculture I like is oyster farming. And we have a booming oyster industry in Rhode Island that also helps to keep the pond.
Right. Watch Hill Oysters, I know they're part of the MBA, and I know he's out there all the time. And so one other question then when it comes to that stuff, is there anything that the state does or the federal government does that, I know the answer is yes, but I don't know what they do, that they sort of regulate, how much you can get, how big things are. Do you find that most everybody follows those rules? Or
for the most part, it's like any industry, people are going to cheat. Crooks will be crooks. That's pretty much, you're not going to change that. But I think the regulations are. Some of it is kind of antiquated. We got to change to more of a ecological regulatory system, management system, because you can't manage one species at a time. I think the best quote came from guy Loftus. Same amount of same deer in your backyard at the same time, but we'll spend time counting coyotes and counting deer separately. but they interact with each other. The same in the ocean.
Do you think that the oceans are cleaner today or 30, 40 years ago? I mean, it seems like there's more of a realization of what we're doing with our trash, and I mean, I used to see the barges dumping trash going past Misquamicut. I don't know if they still do.
No,
I mean,
that's cleaner, but it's funny. If you want to see the other side of it, so much propaganda involved. Just watch this. I mean, that is just such a punch in the face, because it's just somebody's narrative that they want to put out there that's wrong and has already been debunked, but a lot of people believe it. As a matter of fact, there's a couple of big shipping companies, MAR, I can't remember. They're going out towing up in the ocean. So they're running around like a trawl net, trawling trash.
Trawling for trash.
Yeah, and I think we're getting better at that. I think the U.S. has been a lot better at it. The problem is other countries that just care.
Right. But here locally, I mean, the Narragansett Bay has been a big success. They opened areas this year in the upper bay to shell fishing that haven't been opened in decades. And a lot of that is attributed to the work that they did in Providence with the sewer treatment system and stormwater management, et cetera, for over decades of improving water quality in the bay.
hey, Pete, I had a question for you. Since you run the bait shop, if you're just a guy like me that doesn't have a license to go fish, whatever, how many clams or steamers could a guy like me just go get for fun? Like, what is there's like a law, or do you have to get a license? How does it work?
So since you're a resident of Rhode Island, your driver's license essentially is your clamming license. It's not a fishing license, but it's a clamming license. And then a fishing license, you'd have to buy either at our location or online through the state, through the DEM, for a saltwater license or a freshwater license. But as a resident, you can go out and you can get, I want to say it's 2 pecks, which essentially is like 2 gallons of clams. Depending on where you go, that's in these salt ponds. These ponds are management areas, so you get less. You're allowed less than if you were to go like in the bay in Narragansett or something. I believe you're allowed double that.
I went out clamming a couple of years ago with my friend Lou, and I got 1 steamer. So what am I doing wrong?
So steamers are tricky because they can actually shoot themselves down pretty far, pretty deep, pretty fast. Whereas like a hard shell clam doesn't really move much. It's a lot easier to get. But the steamers, you have to look for certain holes. And my buddy Nick Celico gave me a good explanation a few weeks ago of the hole that you want to look for really is an oval shaped hole. Because that's the shape of their neck that comes up. But anyway, what you do is you dig down behind those holes, and you have to go down. You want to go down like a foot maybe, and that's the key, is to get depth and get behind them, and because you can crush them and break them. Obviously, they're soft shell, but yeah, they're amazing creatures because they shoot right down. They'll shoot down 6 inches, a foot, and they're right there. But they're counting on you giving, on you not getting them. So
I love them. I keep looking down at our lower left of the screen, and I keep thinking of the title for the show. I think it's going to be called Jason Jarvis Off-Road Fisherman.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, guys, I want to thank you for spending some time with us today, and thanks for joining the Misquamicut Business Association. We're here to promote you guys. And just
Thanks
one last time, Gina, give us the address and the hours and stuff like that so people can come find you starting, tomorrow night, right?
Yep, it's a Fresh Harvest Kitchen, 9 East Avenue, Westerly, Rhode Island. Wednesday afternoons, Thursday afternoons, Friday afternoons, and Saturdays, 9 to noon.
Sounds good. Well, thank you very much, Jay. Thank you very much, Pete. Thank you, Gina. And everybody go check out Fresh Harvest
Thanks
Kitchen.
a lot, Caswell.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Take care.
See you later.
We'll see you.
All right, so that was our episode for today. So this show is called Misquamicut Tonight. We do it a lot during the summertime when we're promoting all the events at the beach. I'll tell you about a couple other events that are coming up. And I know it's only November, but we're going to be having our Misquamicut Luau the first Friday in February, and it comes quick. It really does, and it's a huge fundraiser for us, and it's our big annual event. And it's going to be at the Windjammer. And then a month later, we're going to have our wine tasting with Warehouse Beer, Wine, Liquor, and other local vendors. And that's usually, that will be for the second time at Venice in the ballroom. So that'll be in March. So those are our two fundraisers coming up. We are going to, we just finished up the drive-in a couple weeks ago with Dunn's Corner PTO. They did a trunk or treat, and then they showed It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, because, you got to promote the classics. We're going to be starting to sell advertising for the drive-in, for our Misquamicut paper, for our map, for our website. So all that stuff, if you're interested, just send us an email, misquamicut2000@gmail.com, or just message us through Facebook or wherever you're watching this. And then we've also got, what else is coming up? We're going to start planning our festivals for next year, our lineup of Tunes on the Dunes, which is through the town of Westerly. And it's just a lot of stuff that we do during the winter to plan for the summer, which we hope to kick off early and end late. We literally just had our last MBA event just like 2 weeks ago. So it's been a really successful season. We thank you all for coming down. Final thing is, people send us messages all winter long saying, is the beach open? I mean, obviously there's no lifeguards sitting there, and at the state beach, for instance, there's porta potties, but you can always come to Misquamicut Beach any time of the year. The state beach lot is wide open. Places like the Windjammer are still open for business, actually. So you can always come down to the beach and hang out. You can ride your bike on our new bike pedestrian path. And there's also businesses just off the beach like Venice Restaurant that are open year round. So it's a lot of fun. I think the Pleasant View just closed last weekend. I think Sandy Shore is open year round. I think the Seashell is open year round. So there are year round places open. And of course, there's a lot of new great stuff going on in downtown Westerly. It's pretty amazing. All the restaurants and all the stuff. The United Theater, High Hopes, I think it's called, which is near Malted Barley. So there's a lot of stuff to explore. So we're kind of a year-round place, not just a seasonal place. Anyway, thanks to the folks from Fresh Harvest Kitchen. Go visit them. And we will talk to you on the next episode of Misquamicut Tonight, some other night. See you later.